What if something as simple as a daily snack could make a real difference in your fertility and your ability to get and keep strong erections? It sounds almost too easy, doesn't it? But the research is actually there, and today we're going to walk through it together. Well, I'm Dr. Naraya Wolf, urologist and pelvic surgeon. And if you ever face questions or concerns about your urological health, stay with us. We're here to help you understand your body with clarity and comfort. Today, I want to share something that surprised even me when I first came across the studies. We're talking about one specific food that's been shown to improve sperm quality and erectile function, and it's probably sitting in your pantry right now. But before I tell you what it is, let's talk about why this matters and what the science actually says. Let's be honest, when it comes to fertility and sexual health, most people assume the solutions are complicated. Maybe it's medication, maybe it's surgery, maybe it's some expensive supplement with a name you can't pronounce. And while those options have their place, what if I told you that some of the most powerful tools for supporting your reproductive and sexual health are the things you eat every single day? Your body is incredibly responsive to what you put into it. The foods you choose don't just fuel your energy, they influence your hormones, your blood flow, your inflammation levels, and even the health of your sperm. And when it comes to erections, blood flow is everything. If your blood vessels aren't healthy, if they're stiff or inflamed, it becomes harder for blood to flow into the penis and stay there. That's erectile dysfunction in a nutshell. Similarly, sperm health isn't just about genetics. It's about the environment those sperm are created in. Are they being exposed to oxidative stress? Are they getting the nutrients they need to develop properly? Are they strong enough, shaped correctly, and energetic enough to swim all the way to an egg? These are the questions researchers have been asking for years, and in 2024, a group of scientists decided to look at one food in particular and its impact on both fertility and erections. They reviewed multiple studies, what's called a systematic review and meta-analysis, which means they weren't just relying on one small trial. They were looking at the big picture, pooling together data from several studies to see if there was a consistent pattern. What they found was compelling. And it all comes down to something many of us already eat, or at least have access to: nuts. Let me walk you through what these studies actually showed. The researchers identified 4 relevant studies that involved 875 participants. These were men and women of reproductive age, between 18 and 49 years old, and they consumed nuts every single day for 3 months. The researchers then measured a variety of fertility outcomes to see if there was any improvement. Now, 2 of these studies were randomized controlled trials, which is the gold standard in research. In those trials, one group ate 2 servings of nuts daily, while the other group avoided nuts entirely. And when the results came in, they were striking. The men who ate nuts every day saw significant improvements in their sperm quality. We're talking about a 51% increase in sperm motility. That's how well the sperm can swim. A 54% increase in sperm morphology. That's the shape of the sperm, which is crucial for fertilization. And a 61% increase in sperm vitality. That's a measure of how alive and energetic the sperm are. The more vital they are, the better their chances of reaching and fertilizing an egg. Now, the other 2 studies in this review were observational, meaning they weren't randomized, and the serving sizes were smaller. Those studies didn't find the same significant effects, but that's not surprising. When you're dealing with smaller doses and less controlled conditions, results can vary. So let's talk specifics. In one study, men ate 75 grams of walnuts every day for 12 weeks. In another, they consumed 60 grams of mixed nuts, 30 grams of walnuts, 15 grams of almonds, and 15 grams of hazelnuts for 14 weeks. And those were the doses that led to measurable improvements. Now, you're probably wondering, why nuts? What is it about nuts that makes them so powerful for fertility? The answer lies in what's inside them. Nuts are packed with healthy fats, omega-3 fatty acids, and monounsaturated fats that have been linked to better sperm quality and function. They're also rich in antioxidants, which protect sperm from oxidative damage. Think of oxidative stress as rust forming inside your body. It damages cells, including sperm cells. Antioxidants help fight that damage. Nuts also contain vitamins and minerals, like vitamin E, selenium, and zinc, that are essential for reproductive health. And here's another key factor. Nuts have a low glycemic index, meaning they don't cause big spikes in blood sugar. That's important because high blood sugar and insulin resistance can negatively impact fertility. But we're not just talking about fertility here. Let's talk about erections. The same nutrients that benefit sperm health also benefit blood vessel health, and healthy blood vessels are the foundation of strong erections. Nuts contain antioxidants that protect the cells lining your blood vessels, what we call endothelial cells. When those cells are healthy, blood flows smoothly. When they're damaged, blood flow is restricted, and that can lead to erectile dysfunction. Nuts also contain an amino acid called arginine, which is the precursor to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the most important molecule when it comes to erections. It's what triggers the relaxation of blood vessels in the penis, allowing blood to flow in and create an erection. Without enough nitric oxide, erections become weaker or harder to achieve. Pistachios, in particular, are rich in antioxidants and have been studied for their impact on erectile function. In one small study, 17 men ate 100 grams of pistachios every day for 3 weeks. After just 3 weeks, they reported improvements in erectile function. And when researchers used Doppler ultrasound to measure blood flow to the penis, they found measurable improvements. This wasn't just subjective, it was objective, measurable change. Another study took 83 men and divided them into 2 groups. One group ate 60 grams of mixed nuts every day, walnuts, almonds, and hazelnuts. The other group avoided nuts entirely. After 14 weeks, the group that ate nuts reported significant improvements in orgasmic function and sexual desire compared to the control group. Now, I want to be clear, these are relatively small studies, and most of the participants were young, healthy men. So we can't say for certain that these results will apply to every person, especially those with underlying health conditions. But the pattern is encouraging, and the science makes sense. So what does this mean for you? If you're concerned about your fertility or your erectile function, adding a handful of nuts to your daily routine could be a simple, natural way to support your health. I'm talking about 60 to 75 grams a day, roughly a small handful. That could be walnuts, almonds, hazelnuts, pistachios, or a mix. But here's the thing, this isn't a magic fix. Nuts aren't going to replace the fundamentals. If you're not taking care of the pillars of your health, diet, exercise, sleep, and stress management, then no supplement, no superfood, no biohack is going to make the difference you're looking for. Let me break that down. Your diet should be balanced, whole foods-based, and rich in nutrients. Your exercise routine should include both cardiovascular activity and resistance training. Your sleep should be consistent and restorative, and your stress levels should be managed in healthy ways. Those are the foundations. Nuts are just one piece of the puzzle. If you're already doing those things, then yes, adding nuts could give you an extra boost. But if you're skipping sleep, eating poorly, and living in a constant state of stress, don't expect a handful of nuts to fix everything. That said, nuts are one of the easiest changes you can make. They're affordable, portable, and easy to incorporate into your meals. Throw them in your oatmeal, add them to a salad, eat them as a snack, or blend them into a smoothie. Just make it consistent. Now, if you're dealing with significant fertility issues or persistent erectile dysfunction, please see a urologist. There may be underlying causes that need to be addressed: hormonal imbalances, vascular problems, psychological factors, and those require a proper evaluation. Nuts can support your health, but they're not a substitute for medical care when it's needed. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Your body is constantly listening to the choices you make. The foods you eat, the way you move, the rest you give yourself, it all adds up. And sometimes, the most powerful changes are the simplest ones. Adding nuts to your daily routine isn't going to fix everything overnight, but over time, with consistency, it can support your blood vessel health, your sperm quality, your hormone balance, and your overall vitality, and that's something worth doing. So, start small. Grab a handful of walnuts or almonds tomorrow, make it part of your routine, and remember, taking care of your body isn't about perfection. It's about showing up day after day and making choices that honor your health and your future. If you're watching this content and finding it helpful, I want to ask you one quick favor. On my channel, only about 20% of viewers are actually subscribed. It's a simple, zero-cost way to support what we do here. If you enjoy these videos, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss new content each and every week. It helps us reach more people who need this information. Thank you so much for being here. As always, take care of yourself, because you're worth it.